Well, good evening. Hello. Welcome to Willingness Wednesday. I am your coach, Bvon Squires, and today we are sponsored by Spirit Source Connection. If this is your first time here, thank you for coming here and welcome. And if you are returning, you know I appreciate you so much. Thank you for meeting me here. I certainly could not do this without your love and support, and I just thank you so much for always coming here to meet me here on Wednesday night on our new time, 7:15 p.m. Okay, so we're going to just jump right on in. I hope everyone had a great day today. My day was pretty good. But listen, I have something so important to talk to you about, so exciting to talk to you about. As you may or may not know, we have a series going on based on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Okay, so I'm going to do just a little recap for us before we jump into habit number 3, which we're going to talk about tonight. Habit number 3, putting first things first, right? But first of all, I want to go back and talk about habit number 1. Habit number 1 introduced us to proactive thinking. Proactive thinking allows us to make decisions based on our values and principles as opposed to our impulses, our feelings, other people's treatment of us, events that we cannot control. We don't want to make decisions based on those types of things that we have no control over. We want to make them based on our values and our principles. Habit number 2 talked about, I am so stuck right now on habit number 3, putting first things first. But habit number 2 talked about beginning with the end in mind, okay? Habit number 2 introduced us to our imagination. Habit number 2 allowed us to look forward to the future, to dream big, to think about who we want to be, how we want people to remember us, and what goals we actually want to achieve. And then habit number 2 asks us to write it down, write the vision, make it plain. There has to be a starting point to any goal, anything you want to achieve. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so today we're going to be talking about habit number 3, put first things first. The reason that this is so important is, I don't know if you've ever heard the saying, you got the horse before the cart, or no, you had the cart before the horse. You ever heard that saying before? I used to hear that a lot growing up. Oh, you got the cart before the horse. And I didn't understand exactly what that meant. And then as I kind of understood what it meant, as I, grew up and, started having the ability to think and process things, I understood that meant that the sequence of activities towards meeting my goal were out of sequence, and I wasn't putting the first thing first. So Stephen Covey has created this habit number 3, and it's talking about putting the first things first, which is also a way of thinking about time management. So we're being introduced to time management here in habit number 3. And I know I'm not the only one who can improve on time management. Has there ever been a time where you forgot, oh my God, that report's due today? Oh my goodness, I have an exam tomorrow. I better spend all day and all night cramming for that exam. That's because you are in quadrant 1, okay? And so the way Stephen Covey has it broken down for habit 3 is in 4 quadrants, okay? Quadrant number 1 is, on this side you have important. These are important things, right? And the important things are those things that will move you towards your goal. Those things that will help you get closer to what you're trying to achieve. No matter what the goal is, big, small, we're not comparing goals here. Whatever your goal is your goal. If in your mission statement you said you wanted to spend more time with your family, okay, that could be one of your goals. But if you are always in quadrant number one, you're not going to have time to spend quality time to spend with your family, because quadrant number one is the urgent quadrant. Everything's an emergency. Everything's a crisis. Got to act now. Got to do this. Got to do that. And it seems so overwhelming. I don't know about you, but some people have anxiety. And a lot of times that anxiety is because we feel like we don't have enough time to get everything accomplished. And so what I want you to know today is that it seems as if you don't have enough time, or you feel like you don't have enough time, but in reality, you do have enough time. If only you will put the big rocks first. The big rocks, these are the things that you discovered in your plan as the plan for going towards your goal, the milestones that you have to achieve, the big things that you have to address in order to move forward towards your goal. Those are the big rocks. And so you want to focus on the big rocks, get those out of the way, and then everything else, the not so important things, can be trickled in around the big rocks. Now, of course, there is an illustration that Stephen Covey has where there's a big bowl and it's filled with a lot of tiny little rocks, just tiny little rocks. And then the big rocks are outside of the bowl. And these are the big things: family, employment, house, car. These are real big things that you want to focus on, right? And so you start putting them inside this jar on top of all the little small rocks, and there's not enough room. There's just not enough time to get all those big things in. But if you start with the big things in first, the big rocks inside the container first, right? And then pour the little tiny rocks on top of that, and they find their little places all over and around the big rocks, and then there you go. Everything fits in the time frame that we are all allotted. We have 24 hours a day, and we can accomplish a lot, right, if we have good time management skills. And so what I want to help you to do today is understand number one, how important time management is. And number two, I want to just do a little illustration about the characteristics of each quadrant, okay? Quadrant number one is the urgent quadrant. This is the quadrant where procrastinators live, okay? If you are a procrastinator, you will definitely understand this. Waiting to the last minute to get things done. Waiting until the last minute to look at your calendar only to find out, oh my gosh, I missed the appointment. Or sometimes these people don't even have calendars. They don't schedule things. That's why everything seems to be a crisis. They don't use their time wisely. And that's why quadrant one is called urgent. And this is the quadrant you do not want to be in. But this is also the quadrant that most of us spend our time in. Oh, got to do this, got to do that. I'm so busy, just hustling and a bustling, right? Oh, I wish I had time to do that, but I've got so much to do. I don't have time to do that. And that's because you're living in quadrant one, okay? Quadrant two, I want to tell you, is quadrant two is the prioritizer, right? Quadrant two is where you want to live. This is where you want to spend your time. If you can spend your time in quadrant two, prioritizing the big rocks and the smaller events, then you will have the time that you need to spend with your family. You'll have the time that you need to read that book that you've been dying to read. You'll have the time that you need because everything is on a schedule. You have a calendar. Now, of course, I want to tell you, it's going to take self-discipline. If you don't have self-discipline, that's something also that we're going to have to work on is the self-discipline. Because it takes a lot of self-discipline to write everything down on a calendar and to stick to a schedule. But I tell you, when you do that and you plan things in, you will see that you have enough time to take care of everything. Okay, so that's the prioritizer in quadrant number two. In quadrant number 3, we have the yes man, okay? In quadrant number 3, the yes man. This is the person who is easily interrupted. Oh, yes, I'm doing my work and, oh, the phone rang. Ooh, let me see who it is. Oh, hey, girl, hey, and now you're on the phone. Now, instead of doing what you're supposed to be doing, you are spending time on the phone. You have been interrupted. Now, I don't know about you, but when I get in a groove, I like to stay there. That's like if I'm going to clean the house. I get in a groove and I don't want to be disturbed. I don't want to be disturbed because I want, number 1, to accomplish this task. Number 2, I get my groove going. And I'm in there and I'm accomplishing things, and it's feeling so good. It feels good to accomplish things. I enjoy it. It makes me feel like I'm being productive and responsible. And that in itself helps my self-esteem, makes me feel like I am worthy of the time that I'm going to take later to watch my favorite show, right? Because I have taken time to prioritize my schedule, right? I have everything on a calendar. I have everything scheduled. And so now I will have time to actually sit and do those things that I enjoy, right? All right. So then you have quadrant number 4. Quadrant number 4 is the slacker. This is the person who spends all their time surfing the internet. This is the person that spends their time on YouTube, just doing nothing, just wasting time, basically. But you know what? Sometimes that feels good. Sometimes it feels good to waste time, but it's not a good thing. Spending a lot of time in quadrant 4 will definitely turn you into a slacker. Will definitely, has the propensity to put you in a rut that you really might have a hard time shaking. So let's not spend too much time in quadrant number 4. As I was saying, quadrant number 2 is where you want to be. Now, I know that it's not easy to change your life from flying by the seat of your pants, footloose, fancy free. Some people just don't like to be tied to a schedule. I understand that. But if you want to have a life that's worth living, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to create it. You're going to have to build it. And what better way to build it than to have good time management skills, right? So that you can go along your plan that you wrote in Habit 2 and say, okay, this is what I'm going to achieve today. For this week, this is what I'm going to achieve. And so as you are achieving your goals, you're getting closer to the finish line. You're getting closer to the goal as you're completing these tasks, right? Now, I need to tell you that there are some principles that you will need to live by in order to operate in this habit 3, in order to spend most of your time or the majority of your time in quadrant 2, right? Where you are prioritizing things and leaving quadrant 1 for the real emergencies. Oh my God, the house is on fire. Oh my God, I got a flat tire. Oh my God, the kid broke his wrist. Those belong in quadrant 1. Not the report that I didn't spend time creating. No, that doesn't belong in quadrant 1, but a lot of times that's where it is. Okay. So just want to help you. And so that in the analogy that I'm thinking of that helps you understand time management, this will be a good one, I think. Cooking a meal. Okay. Let's say, for instance, you're going to bake a chicken. I'm talking about a free range, no antibiotics, organic chicken. Yes. You're going to pop it in the oven. Okay. But let me tell you, there's prep time and there's cook time. You have to consider all aspects of the goal, all aspects, so that you understand just how much time is needed to accomplish this task. Okay, that's the first thing you need to know is how much time is this going to take me? That's the first thing. And so once you realize, oh, it's going to take an hour, prep time and cooking will take 1 hour. Now you want to make a full meal, right? You don't want to just have chicken. So you're going to have some broccoli. I'm talking organic broccoli. Yummy. And so you're going to have to prepare that as well. The prep time for that, maybe 10 minutes, to wash the broccoli, chop it up how you want it, season it, put a little olive oil on it, and pop it in the oven as well. Okay, so now you have to know it's going to take 20 minutes for the broccoli. So you got an hour for the chicken, right? 20 minutes for the broccoli. And let's say, for instance, you're going to have couscous. Yeah. Or cauliflower rice even, which doesn't take too long. We'll talk about maybe 10 more minutes for the cauliflower rice, okay? Okay, so here you go. You know that the chicken is going to take the longest, so you want to get it in first. That's the first thing first. The chicken has to go first so that the other food is not cold waiting for the chicken to finish cooking. All right. And so, of course, you want to not halfway, but 20 minutes into the cooking of the chicken, you want to go ahead and start handling your broccoli, because that's going to take you 20 minutes total in terms of meal prep and, not meal prep, but the prep and cooking is going to take you about 20 minutes. And so then you figure 10 minutes after that, you want to go ahead and start the couscous, right? So anyway, what I'm trying to get you to see is that when you plan things out, everything comes out the way it's intended, right? The meal will come out, the chicken will be done and hot, the broccoli will be tender and hot, and the couscous or the cauliflower rice, whichever you have, will be hot, and everything can be enjoyed at the same time. And that's exactly the way your life can be if we plan accordingly. And so I know it's not an easy thing to do, but I want to help you with that. So if you would call me at 317-721-4315, I would be happy to explain to you and help you see how your time management is so critical to your goals, right? Or you can also email me at b.vonsquires@gmail.com. Now, either way you contact me is just fine, but we're going to talk about time management skills. We're going to talk about habit 1, 2, and 3. We're going to talk about that quadrant 1 that you don't want to spend your time in. That quadrant 1 is only for real emergencies, right? That quadrant 2 is where you want to be as the prioritizer. You want to be able to have things on your calendar, schedule things out so that you can have the life of ease that you'd like. I don't know about you, but I know when I rush to take care of something, I make mistakes. The finished product, I'm not ever really totally satisfied with, because I procrastinated and waited until the last minute. Or that test that I had to cram for, waiting for the last minute and not getting the grade that I wanted, not the grade that I knew I was capable of attaining, right? So I just want to help you understand that if you are in quadrant 1, if you are the person that has a hard time with time management, you are not alone. You're not alone. So I just want to help you to enhance your life, enhance the time that you have for pleasurable things by not allowing yourself to procrastinate and have crisis situations, which then, of course, is going to tie into the anxiety. Oh, my gosh, and you just really don't want that, because then the anxiety has an effect on your body, and it's just a domino effect, a negative domino effect. But if you start with the first things first and get those things taken care of, everything else is going to fall in place. And you'll be so glad that you did. I'm telling you, this process will revolutionize your life. It will give you a sense of freedom. It will give you a sense of control over your life, right? And then when you start seeing that you're able to achieve things and, write it down, write it down, cross it off, write it down, cross it off. Now your whole list has been crossed out. And guess what? Now you have time to play with your grandbabies. Now you have time to go out in your garden. Now you have time to take that walk. Now you have time to call your girlfriend because she needs you, right? And you want to be able to give her your undivided attention. And so this way you can meet your needs and the needs of those that you care about by just applying habit number 3, putting the first things first. Okay, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for us this evening. I am so happy that I was able to bring this information to you, and I hope that it somehow has edified you. I hope that you have given yourself an opportunity to listen to this and see, I think maybe I'd like to do something like that. I think I'd like to incorporate habit 1, 2, and 3 to my life. And if that's the case, don't forget to call me so that I can help. Okay, guys, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I'm going to be praying for you, praying that God will continue to give you the vision that he has put down inside you, praying that God will continue to bless you abundantly so that you have what it takes to move forward towards your goals, because that's exactly what you want, and that's what he wants for you as well. A happy life, right? And time management will give you the happy life that you're looking for. All right, guys, thanks again. I will see you next Wednesday where we'll be talking about habit number 4. All right, have a good night. Love you. Bye.